Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're hearing Tory Craig, the NBA champion, is getting himself an opportunity on the Boston Celtics. And personally, I actually really like this move, as Tory Craig is a guy that, in my opinion, when you watch him play, he's 34 years old. He went overseas and balled out in Australia and came over, joined the Denver Nuggets. And my apology, he didn't actually win with the Denver Nuggets. They traded him to Milwaukee. And then when Milwaukee won, he actually wasn't on that championship team. He ended up being traded to Phoenix. And then he was traded to Indiana, returns to Phoenix, but he's been to multiple championships. My apology. It's crazy to think that he missed out on multiple championship windows on contenders, but he's repeatedly on contenders who, as a guy who's now played 400 and over 400 games in the NBA, I think he might have broken 500 this season. He's averaging 7 points a game on 49% from the field, 43% from three rebounds, just under an assist a game. And when you look at Torrey Craig, yeah, he's 34, but he's still good to give you 15 minutes, 20 minutes a night at most. He can be a spot starter. Obviously, he's not the top-notch defender that he used to be, but he's still a guy who can guard the opposing team's better offensive players, and he knows his role. He won't try to do too much. He's still a solid catch-and-shoot player from deep. He'll do well in transition. He's 6'7" with a solid wingspan, and he does a good job in transition. I really think he has good instincts on both sides of the floor, and he can be a guy who can slash to the basket when he sees the opportunity. And to me, I think this is a really good, opportunity for the Boston Celtics, who they had two roster spots open. And shout out, I believe this was it Mr. Bobby Marks who broke this news? No, it's Charania. And the Celtics have two roster spots open. They're second in the Eastern Conference at 36-15. They are 5 games behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. And this season, this is a team that is 11th in rebounding, 16 in assists, and they actually are the 6th worst in steals. And their field goal percentage is actually the 9th worst. And none of these numbers matter. This team is still the favorite to win it again. But I think bringing in Tory Craig, especially for a team that, if you look at their rotation right now, you bring in Tory Craig, who he's going to be a guy who can step in and be the backup wing forward behind Jason Tatum and Al Horford and Jaylen Brown, because this team, they've really been running outside of Kada and Cornette and Xavier Tillman coming in for, Porzingis and Al Horford. Let's just exclude those 3 guys. They really rely on Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and Derek White when Drew Holiday is healthy to be that 8-man rotation outside of their bigs. And I think having Torrey Craig, Sam Hauser isn't, and nor is Peyton Pritchard. They give a great effort on the defensive end, but we all know that they're no shutdown defender. It's not even shutdown defender, but like in the playoffs, if they need help, especially going against the New York Knicks, Torrey Craig is going to be able to be someone who can play some formidable minutes and guard Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, and guard Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley in the playoffs. And, as well as like Jaime Jaquez, Duncan Robinson, and whoever else you could imagine that they might encounter on their way to a deep playoff run. And I think that, to me, is really good for the Boston Celtics that they got it. And worst comes to worst, he plays a similar role that he played with, or that they had with O'Shea Brissett or Lamar Stevens as well. As I think they've had multiple guys similar size just be 14th bodies on the bench who, when called upon, are able to play really well, as they would be probably 10th or 8th guys on the bench on other teams. But because they have the luxury of being as deep as they are, the Boston Celtics don't have to play them. And I think that this is one of those luxuries that they have as being title contenders, that a guy like Tory Craig, that a lot of other teams would would have loved to have had, have gone ahead and he's gone ahead and signed with the Boston Celtics. And to me, I think that's a great deal. I see the fit personally. I think it's clear as day how well he fits into that team, especially as they just need somebody who can play within his role, that he's not going to do too much. Like, he's going to be someone who's going to come in, do exactly what you would imagine, and do it effectively. Because to me, I think he's shown time in and time out again that he's a really good role player. I think that's the best way to put it, as he's going to be someone that how to, I guess, maximize his role. And yeah, I think I like this pickup. I think the risk and reward, there isn't any risk. And I think the best thing about it is you're looking at a team that, as I've said repeatedly, title contenders. And it's always, as we've said, the rich keep getting richer. So, it's good to know that he was waived the other day. So they had him clear waivers and now they picked him up. To me, the most interesting thing about all of this is, what is the expectation then if you're the Boston Celtics and your rotation in the playoffs? Like, Joe Mazzulla seemingly likes to not go deep. He likes to play his guys. And to me, I think this is one of the better pickups that you could have gotten if you were a fan of the Boston Celtics, because I bet you a lot of other contending teams, as I said, Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, Lakers, everybody probably would have wanted a piece of Tory Craig, and he decided to go here because I think, as you guys can tell, title favorites. It's a good fit, a good coach. They're going to shoot a lot of threes, which is something he's good at, and he's going to play his role. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about this, and what would have you done instead? But do you think he's going to play much of a role? I understand that there's a chance that he doesn't play much of a role and he's just literally a reserve. He is 34 and he might just wanting that championship, but who knows? I think it's definitely intriguing to say the least, as this is a squad that has done a really good job at positioning themselves, especially with free agents throughout the season and cap space, to be able to acquire players that help elevate their squad and even just keep their bench clear, because I think their bench has been really, for the last few years, a big part of their success. And it's not been the same. No, they've repeatedly done a really good job at understanding that, hey, we need to continuously be retooling and fluctuating. And I think that's something people have not given much credence or thought about, because it's just the minutia and seems very nuanced when you think about team building. But I think the fact that this isn't a team, besides obviously they're 8 guys, outside of that, it's been a rotating cast of bench role players. So that's the most impressive part of all of this.